Hello everyone, Pam here. How you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. But as I said before, well, eh, I got plenty of medicine. What I talk about changes my mood. So I hope you have a good day too. Um, as you can see, I got my pool up. I think you can see it. Let me turn it a little bit. Yeah, there. See, there's my pool. And got the bamboo up. Got to strengthen it a little bit, but I got it up. Okay, what I wanted to tell you about today was my childhood was a struggle. I didn't learn much in school. So let me get my cross out of the way because it's glaring in the screen. There you go. I grew up with the narcissist and the house mouse. My mother was a house mouse. She did everything my dad wanted. My brothers and sisters were all busy with themselves. So I was more or less left to myself to deal with my shame and of being molested that was brought up to me every day by my father. Okay, so that's just a recap of previous videos that I can remember what I said in them. Okay, to continue on, at the age, I actually became quite promiscuous when I was younger. I admit that. I'm not lying about anything. I was very promiscuous as I got older. And I put myself in situations that I shouldn't have. I realize that now. I didn't at the time. Because all I was looking for was acceptance. I was looking for someone to love me, to nurture me. And I wasn't getting that at home. And I wasn't getting that at school. And I didn't have any friends because none of the other parents in the neighborhood, since my mother went around and told everybody what happened to me, none of the other parents in the neighborhood would allow the kids to play with me because they didn't want me to be around their kids. I wasn't allowed to be around them at school. I wasn't allowed to be around them at home. I was kept in my room most of the time, except for dinner and stuff. And then I was shamed at dinners where I'd eat maybe half of my meal. You know. Anyway, when I got to be a teenager, I started, of course, rebelling. And I got more promiscuous. And I started dating when I was like 13 years old. Yeah, I was dating a high school boy. And he graduated from high school and got a job, and he had a car and everything. So before that, we met at the skating rink. And then after he got a car, he asked my dad if he could pick me up and take me to the skating rink because we both loved to skate. That's where we met. And I really liked him. His name was Lee. I'd still love to get in contact with him today, so if he's out there, congratulations for making it this far. It's like congratulations to me and anybody else that's made it to 65. But I met this guy at the skating rink one year after dating for 2 years. Lee and I had broken up, and I'd met this other guy. He was a little bit older than me, but all we did was skate together, so no big deal. Well, I ended up dating him for a while. I became promiscuous with him, and I didn't know how old he was or nothing. I just didn't even think about that. I brought him home, and he ended up a month later asking my parents if he could marry me, and he asked me if he could marry me, and they said yes. And I was only 15 years old at the time. I didn't realize it, but this guy was 25 years old. You know, knew I was drawn to older men because Lee himself was 21. Well, he was like 19 when I met him, but he was 21 when we broke up. And I married this guy, and he turned out to be, of course, a child molester. So here I was, a child that was molested, and then I married a child molester. And he wasn't in love with me. I wasn't in love with him. All I wanted was out from underneath my narcissist father's hand and my mousy mother's objections, to my life. And so I married him, and 15 years, a week after I turned 16, I got married. So I was still in the mindset of a 15-year-old as far as I'm concerned. And I have a 15-year-old granddaughter. So I know, excuse me, she's not anywhere close to being ready to be married. And I also have a 7-year-old granddaughter. And I can look at her and, oh my God, if somebody did to her what they did to me at either age to my grandchildren, I would gladly spend the rest of my life in prison to destroy that person. Oh, anyway, my mood's starting to change. I'm not going to let it. Anyway, I married this man at 15 years old, 16, so excuse me, week after I turned 16. And I was with him long enough. There's a lot of story in between, but I was with him long enough to end up with 2 sons. And then I escaped from him. I let him move me to Idaho, and a lot happened there, which maybe one day I'll share with you, but I've kind of like seen that as another life, so I try not to relate to it. It was pretty horrible. He was a molester of not only me, but other people in my family and of other people around me. I came back. I left him. I worked my ass off to get the money, saved it up, bought the plane tickets, got the kids ready. The airport was like from Santa Rosa, California, to San Francisco, a good hour away. And he was my only ride to get to the airport. And he knew I was leaving him. So he stole all the money I had worked for to get me and the kids back to California and set up a home here in California. And he took that money from me. He left a plane ticket. And he told me at the airport, the night before the plane was to take off, he dropped me off at 10 o'clock at night because the plane left early in the morning and he couldn't be to work on time. So I had him drop me off thinking I had the money for a motel room for me and the kids to stay in. We ended up sleeping in the bathroom that night at the airport because I refused to go back to him, even if it meant getting the money back, which was almost $1,000. And at that time, back in 1974, that was quite a bit of money. It wouldn't be much now, but back then it was enough to get into an apartment for me and my children. And he took that from us. I couldn't even feed my kids breakfast the next morning. We slept in the bathroom. The janitors left us alone. I woke up the next morning and my youngest had just started walking, was gone. I freaked out. I grabbed my oldest, and I was 2 years old, and I grabbed him and I ran out to the area where people sat waiting for their planes into the airport. I'm sorry, I'm getting upset here, remembering it. But I ran out. Luckily, I seen him there with the janitor over at the big windows watching the planes take off. And those janitors got together that morning in that airport. They bought my baby's breakfast. We got on that plane. We came back to California. And my mother and my sister were waiting for me at the airport. I think they were waiting for me. They got there real soon. And I said, Mom, my kids are hungry. Could you feed them lunch? And we all ate. And then we came home. And I stayed with my mom and dad for as long as I had to. And then I think I better compose myself right here. And I'll try to continue the story. Thank you.